Did Jungkook just unfollow Taeyong after that Japan photo dump? Fans are losing sleep over one digital move. Did Jungkook silently draw a digital boundary? Or is the internet once again reading between invisible lines? That's the burning question echoing across timelines and fan forums after Taeyong, famously known as V of BTS, uploaded a carefully curated photo dump from Japan, a collection that, on the surface, looked innocent, artistic, and distinctly V. But within hours, armies began to murmur, then gasp, then spiral.
Why?
Because eagle-eyed fans began claiming that Jungkook, the golden Maknae himself, no longer follows Taeyong on Instagram. Is it true? Is it a glitch? Or is it a subtle signal that something is broken between the two members we've long cherished as brothers, partners in mischief, and even soulmates in many fans' eyes? One thing is certain. This isn't just about photos. It's about silence, timing, the absence of expected support, and a fandom that knows every beat of its idol's digital heartbeats. This isn't the first time followers have dissected Jungkook and Taeyong's online interactions, but the emotional weight behind this moment feels different. Because Taeyong didn't just post random selfies, he posted art. And Jungkook's alleged digital distancing is being seen as an answer, or a statement, or maybe even a farewell. But let's step back. Let's retrace what happened and ask, when exactly did the shift begin? Taeyong had just wrapped a tight-lipped schedule in Japan, where he's been reportedly attending fashion and brand meetings as part of his ambassadorial deal with Celine. The world hadn't seen much of him since completing his military service just weeks before, and his return to South Korea was anything but private. The crowd at Incheon International Airport was massive, almost violent in its energy. Fans screamed, media swarmed, and the man himself walked briskly, his expression unreadable, behind sunglasses and beneath a Celine cap. But no amount of designer could mask the tension in that moment. He didn't smile. He didn't wave. And when he reached his van, he disappeared into it like a man already worn down. Hours later, the photo dump appeared. 10 images. Aesthetic.
Vibes.
Minimalist. Laced with Taeyong's signature sense of mystery and elegance. There were shots of alleyways in Tokyo, reflections in glass, a lone coffee cup, a blurry photo of his hand holding a piece of onigiri, and finally, one candid shot of him seated under cherry blossoms, looking not at the camera but at something or someone out of frame. It felt intimate. Almost too intimate. Comments flooded in. Most were positive, filled with purple hearts and missed you messages. But then came the silence, and no comment.
No emoji.
Nothing from Jungkook. That alone might have meant little, until fans claimed they couldn't find Taeyong in Jungkook's following list anymore. Speculation erupted like wildfire. Screenshots began circulating, some showing that Jungkook once followed V, others allegedly showing that the connection was gone. While many tried to dismiss it as a glitch, others took it far more seriously. Especially when they recalled a Weverse Live just weeks prior, where Jungkook had smiled wistfully when asked about Taekook moments and then quickly changed the subject. Was that a red flag in hindsight? And what about the moment in March 2025, before enlistment, when Taeyong had missed a live stream Jungkook dedicated to his birthday? At the time, fans had chalked it up to scheduling conflicts.
But now?
Theories are shifting. There's a narrative taking root, however speculative, that something deeper and quieter has been unraveling between them, and that this Instagram moment was just the most visible thread snapping. Still, others believe it's all nonsense. That fans are reading too much into a moment that may be entirely algorithmic. That perhaps Taeyong switched to a private profile temporarily, or maybe even archived his account, which can momentarily disrupt followers. But even if those explanations hold technical weight, they don't answer the emotional question. Why didn't Jungkook acknowledge the post? Especially given how active Jungkook has been on Instagram lately, liking posts from other BTS members, engaging with fan art, even dropping a cryptic story that read, "Some things are better unsaid." Posted just 36 hours after Taeyong's photo dump. Intentional? Coincidence? Coincidence doesn't trend worldwide in 26 countries. It's hard to separate fact from feeling in moments like this. The history between Jungkook and Taeyong is long, layered, and beloved. From their early days sharing ramen in tiny dorm kitchens to late-night walks in foreign cities during tours, their bond has always felt like something more than mere colleagueship. Fans remember Friends, the subunit song that tugged at heartstrings. They remember Taekook moments that weren't just fan service. They were real, raw, spontaneous. When silence takes the place of that energy, the void feels seismic. And it's not just online where fans are noticing the shift. Observers at recent private BTS-related events have noted that while Jungkook and Jimin seemed close as ever, and Jin has been openly playful with all the members, Taehyung remained slightly apart. Not cold, not hostile, just distant. The same can be said of the Japan trip itself. Despite its brand agenda, it also had the feel of a personal reset, a retreat. Taehyung's photos weren't just a travel diary. They were mood boards of solitude. He didn't appear with staff. He didn't tag friends. He barely showed his own face. One might argue that the post wasn't meant for anyone specific, or that it was aimed precisely at someone. Perhaps that's what hurts most for fans. The ambiguity. The space between two members once so intertwined. And yet, even in this haze of digital tension, there is still hope. Because both Jungkook and Taehyung have always been intensely private, especially when dealing with internal emotions. They don't speak rashly. They don't expose pain lightly. If there is conflict, it's likely being dealt with behind the scenes, with the same intimacy and grace that once defined their friendship. Still, fans are begging for clarity.
For even a tiny sign, a like,
A comment, a photo, something to suggest that whatever wall exists right now is temporary, not permanent, because this isn't just about two celebrities managing their social media. It's about two souls whose journey together inspired millions, and whose possible drift is breaking hearts in slow motion. Is Jungkook really no longer following Taehyung? Or is he protecting something fragile behind the curtain of silence? Is Taehyung speaking through his photos? Or retreating into them? Are we witnessing the quiet death of a bond, or its silent evolution into something new? We may not get answers soon. But the questions have already taken root. And in the space between posts, likes, and unfollows, a story is being written in real time, one that reminds us all how fragile even the strongest-looking connections can be, because sometimes the loudest heartbreaks are digital. Let's go deeper, because this isn't just a one-time photo dump followed by silence. This is a complex tapestry woven over time, stitched with whispers, subtle digital signs, and aching absences. If you think this is merely about a like or an unfollow, look closer. This might be a slow unraveling of something fans once believed was unbreakable. Understand the weight of this moment. We must revisit the roots. Remember Friends, the song Taehyung and Jimin performed together that was rumored to have originally been conceptualized with Jungkook in mind? Fans speculated that the lyrics, the playful banter, and the storytelling in that track were echoes of the Taekook dynamic. While Jimin and Taehyung executed it with charm, ARMYs noted the gentle sadness in Jungkook's eyes every time it was brought up. Was that the beginning of a redirection? It's hard to forget how much togetherness once defined the Jungkook-Taehyung dynamic. Not just in fan edits, but in real-life evidence. The Tokyo trip they took alone, that infamous moment when Taehyung asked Jungkook to walk with him and Jungkook simply followed without question. The way Jungkook would glance at V during interviews, waiting for him to finish his words. The way Taehyung once said, "When I'm with Jungkook, I can be the me I miss." But then something changed. Fans started to notice a subtle chill post. 2022. Their interactions during concerts became rarer, more rehearsed. During live broadcasts, they would join separately rather than together. Even during their solo activities, they refrained from referencing each other as they once had. Fast forward to 2024, just before their military enlistment. During one of the last group broadcasts, Jungkook sat beside Taehyung, both of them smiling but somehow off-sync. Not hostile, just disconnected. Some fans dismissed it as exhaustion. Others saw the silent drift. And now, this. Taehyung, back from service, reintroduces himself to the public with a stunning set of photos from Japan. Artistic, haunting, intimate. He shows more of the world than of himself, but that's always been his way. Except in the past, Jungkook would be the one who filled in the blanks. The one who'd comment with a teasing emoji, who'd repost with a caption like, "Our Hyung's vision," or "He's in his photography era again, oh." But this time, nothing. Even more jarring is the lack of acknowledgement during the airport incident. When V returned from Japan, the scene was chaotic. Fans mobbed him, media chased him, and security looked overwhelmed. Some called it a safety failure. Others labeled it a wake-up call for HYB to prioritize artist protection. But what many fans noticed most wasn't the crowd. It was the silence that followed. An fellow member posted about it. No statement of concern. No public mention of how terrifying that must have felt for Taehyung. And most painfully, no message from Jungkook. Which brings us to now. The unfollow rumor. IT spread like a spark on dry grass. No official confirmation. No outright denial. Just hundreds of fans posting screen recordings, comparisons, timestamps, side-by-side lists of followers. Some said the number changed. Others swore it had never been there. But in fandom culture, especially BTS fandom, perception is reality. And what they perceive is pain, because an unfollow isn't just a missing name, it's a missing bond. A missing I see you. In a world where digital interactions are public relationships, an unfollow cuts deeper than a word ever could. And in the midst of this, Jungkook adds fuel to the fire with a cryptic Instagram story. A black screen. One line. Everything changes. That's okay. A coincidence? Maybe. But fans have learned never to dismiss timing. Meanwhile, Taehyung posts nothing. Not a story. Not a selfie. Just that haunting photo dump, lingering at the top of his profile like a poem unfinished. And that final photo, him under the cherry blossoms, has become a symbol now. Fans have begun quoting it, editing it, captioning it with words like "alone" and "was someone there with him?" Because perhaps that's what this entire moment boils down to: presence and absence. Who shows up? Who stays silent? Who double taps? And who chooses not to? It's tempting to paint this as drama. Two idols. One click. A wave of heartbreak. But there's something sadder, deeper, more human happening here. These are two men who've grown up together in the global spotlight, who've shared victories, traumas, backstage laughs, and lonely hotel rooms halfway around the world. And now, they may be navigating distance for reasons none of us fully understand. Maybe they've drifted. Maybe the friendship looks different now. Maybe they're setting boundaries that fans can't see. Or maybe, just maybe, they're in the middle of something that will make sense with time, but for now must remain a mystery. Still, fans ache. Because if even Taekook can fracture, what hope do any of us have? It's a raw reminder of the cost of closeness, of the pressure fame puts on the bonds it didn't create, and how, in a world obsessed with proof, even silence speaks volumes. In private, they may talk. In group chats, they may joke. Maybe this is all a misunderstanding. But in the public arena, where armies cling to every gesture, Jungkook and Taehyung's current narrative is one of distance, doubt, and disconnection, and that makes every post, every absence, every follow and unfollow feel like a scream in the dark. Where do we go from here? Will Jungkook reach out with a public gesture, a photo, a comment, a song? Will Taehyung address the crowd incident, the photo dump, or the silence that followed? Will HYB issue a statement? Or will they allow speculation to ferment as it has so many times before? Or perhaps nothing will be said, perhaps the silence will stretch, and fans will learn to live with the not knowing. Perhaps this is adulthood, for them and for us, a lesson in letting go of what once was, and embracing the uncertainty of what might be. But in the meantime, one thing is heartbreakingly clear. What was once the internet's most cherished brotherhood now feels like a ghost town, echoing with memories, haunted by what-ifs, and waiting, still, for a single sign of life.